Welcome, everybody, to Straight Shoot, a wrestling podcast. We have just fallen off of a fantastic episode of Friday Night Smackdown, and we have brought back one of our fantastic guests. Wow. Welcome, everybody, to Straight Shoot, a wrestling podcast. And guess what? We brought back a special guest to make it not a 5-time, not a 6-time, not a 7-time, but a 8-time guest of the Straight Shoot Wrestling Podcast. Heel Kev, what's going on, brother?
Really good now that we have, so the greatest part about doing stuff like this is you guys get to see the finished, polished product. You don't get to see the headache we go through to get here. And, to say it's been easy, we'd be lying to you, but we're here. Everything's set up. We had a great episode of wrestling. I am the 8-time, I don't know how special, but guest nonetheless. And Steve, I'm ready to talk some wrestling, man.
Yeah, just to give some people some context, we this is the reason Santi does all the technical stuff on our end, because I am absolutely horrible with it. But the one thing that we have noticed is we're able to create good content, especially when there is two fanatics when it comes to pro wrestling. And we had a amazing episode of Friday Night Smackdown from start to finish. There was some points in the show, Kev, and we'll get to them, where I was like, wow, this didn't make sense to me, and it felt like, I hate to say it, curse me, it felt like Vince booking at some points tonight. I know, I'm sorry, we'll get to them.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, I would, but
okay.
But let's start with the start of the show, Kevin. We kicked off with a highly anticipated Intercontinental title matchup between Gunther and the monster of all monsters, Braun Strowman. First initial reactions to this match.
I'm gonna pay respect to the man who's normally on this screen and say something he'd be proud of. This was just two big men slapping meat, man. And it was, I was a fan of it. I feel like the finish probably could have been a little bit stronger. But overall, nice, snug match. I like what they're doing with not only the Intercontinental Championship, but the U.S. Championship as well. Kind of bringing back the respect, putting more of a spotlight on them, seeing them on weekly television, letting the champions, reestablish the lineage of these titles. And I did enjoy the match. It's just that finish kind of fell off for me a little bit.
Yeah, this match was a banger from start to finish, and I don't want to keep using the term banger after banger because it's getting overused by Drew, Sheamus, the guys at the announce table. But this was a banger.
Every wrestling fan now.
Yeah, it was two meaty men slapping meat, and as much as people are going to cringe at that saying, it's the truth. This was a great match. This could have been, with a better finish, this could have been a pay-per-view premium live event or even WrestleMania worthy type match. It had everything. Even the interference with Imperium being sent to the back and then coming back out and still somehow getting involved with the referee not being involved or not being able to see. It was everything that it needed to be for the opener of Friday Night Smackdown that really just kept motoring along into what is the road to the Royal Rumble, into the road to the WrestleMania. Gunther picking up a very, very satisfying win, but it was a satisfactory finish, just like you said.
Yeah, when you look at this match, you're going to see some of the hardest laid-in clotheslines. You're going to see some of the best chops. You're going to see some nice technical work from Gunther, what we've come to love about him, or at least I have. I want to give a shout out to the third person in the match, Jessica Carr, the referee they have. I think she is phenomenal. In a world where we see referees doing too much or not doing enough or just being in the wrong position, Jessica Carr is a fantastic official. Love her work. Love what she does. And I kind of want to dive into why the finish was kind of a little lackluster for me. And I understand everybody makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect. But it's the way that Strowman took the bump. It almost looked like he could have stood up as he went down for the power bomb. He didn't take a flat back bump. It was almost like he kind of landed on his heels and then just fell from his feet to his back. And I feel like it took some shine away from him because he took the pin from that on just a regular fall.
Yeah.
The power bomb didn't look like a Gunther power bomb. So that's really the only negative thing I could say about this match because I really did enjoy it. Once again, Jessica Carr, if by any chance you see this, you're a fantastic official. Please never stop doing what you're doing. Love your work. But yeah, two big men going in there and just throwing haymakers and trying to put the other one down with a little bit stronger of a finish. I would have loved this match. I still like it. I don't love it.
Yeah. And thank you for shouting out Jessica Carr because she came under a lot of scrutiny at the end of 2022 with that Kevin Owens, John Cena match with Roman and Sami. The fourth wall was unfortunately broken in an indirect way, unfortunately, and it's no issue with her. It's no issue with Cena, but both of them getting caught calling the last 90 seconds of the match, and basically the microphones being left on of the camera for everybody in the world to hear. She did come under a lot of scrutiny, but she is one of the best referees in the business today, and she deserves all the acknowledgement she can get. Anyways, moving on. We come back from commercial break, and we get Rey Mysterio coming out and cutting a promo that we have seen coming for a very, very, very long time. In two contexts, Kev, before I let you take this over. One, we finally got the idea that we are going to get Rey Mysterio and Dom at WrestleMania. There was a massive hint towards that feud needs to end, even though they are on separate shows. And we also finally got the coming together between Karrion Kross and Rey Mysterio, which has been teased for the better part of 6 weeks. Kevin, initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts, I've never really been a big fan of Rey Mysterio's promos. Not to say that they've been bad, but they've never been really that great. I mean, he's had one or two. He has these ones that really break out and make you feel something, especially right after the passing of Eddie Guerrero. But for the most part, never really been a big fan of his promos. You bring up the fact that they're on separate shows. I was going to save this for the main event because it's something I noticed. But can we kind of get away, and not me and you, but WWE as a whole, can we get away from you're on this show, because for the last 3 weeks now, the Bloodline have been on both shows. Kevin Owens has been on both shows. It's going to happen. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I love the fact that we finally got some physicality out of Rey and Karrion. I'm not sure how I feel about the match. That's inevitably going to happen. But for the segment, for what it was, I've got nothing bad to say. I've got nothing good to say. Like I said, I've never really been a big fan of Rey Mysterio's promos. I think Karrion Kross is an absolute monster. I think he looks the part. I think he plays the part. I think he is the part. And I would much rather see him being written with somebody else.
Yeah.
But I understand why it's Rey. Rey is the standard for WWE right now. He's one of the veterans. Everything goes. If you want to get to the next level, you got to check the boxes, and Rey is one of those boxes. I don't think any of us can deny that. I just think this match in itself for Karrion is a means to an end. Let me check this box so I can move on.
Yeah, and I agree with that as well. It's one of those ones where you sit there and you're like, okay, Rey has never been good when cutting a promo. Like, leave it to your athleticism in the ring. But I think this promo was everything that it needed to be. Karrion Kross, I even liked the little burst of fire coming out of the tarot card at the end that not many people caught. I thought that was fantastic. So yeah, it was a decent little promo. It wasn't the best, but at least it made Karrion look strong, and it's gonna give Rey the face build that he needs.
Yes.
God, I don't even know if I want to talk about this. This match was something that it almost looked like they just decided, oh, you two are standing in gorilla. Let's put you guys in a match. Xia Li versus Tegan Nox. Just go. You go on. Tell me what you think.
Why?
4 minutes? Was it 4 minutes? 6 minutes? On
It was very fast because at the same time we ordered some pizza and it had got here, and by the time I finished my first slice of pizza, the match was over. I have a simple fix to this because I feel like, me and you sitting here, we're asking ourselves why. A simple fix to this, they've done it the last week or so. Just say it's a Royal Rumble qualifying match or something like that. Give us some reason at why this match is taking place.
Yep.
Because honestly, I think we're all just sitting there like, this match didn't need to have to happen. Like I said, in the original take we had, the episode of SmackDown was great. There were some spots. This is one of those spots.
Yep.
Just felt like it didn't need to happen. You take those 4 minutes, you give 2 more to Bray's promo, you give 2 more to Sami's promo, and we're having a lot better time with the 4 minutes they gave us.
And listen, we're not taking away and deterring against the athleticism of the two females and professionals in the ring. It's just, it didn't make sense. You need a build to something. You need a reason for it. In pro wrestling, it's not like it's the 50s where we're just gonna say you and you go wrestle.
Yeah, like what are the stakes here? You think of like when you're in grade school and you got into a fight or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
If I ask you, hey Steve, why'd you fight that guy? You have a reason. Yeah. If I ask that guy, why'd you want to fight Steve? He has a reason. If we're sitting here and we're watching a match and you can't give me a reason, or at least the thought of a reason at why this is taking place, it probably shouldn't take place.
Yeah, exactly. So moving on, we go to another commercial break. We go from a very poor match to a commercial break into Drew and Sheamus. Listen, Kevin.
Poor Adam Pearce.
Poor Adam Pearce and poor Drew and Sheamus, because whatever they have started, WWE loves it. And these guys must have swollen chests by the end of every single live recording that they have, because last week they were at a bar chopping the crap out of each other. We've got now with Adam Pearce chopping his back, chopping Sheamus' chest, chopping Drew. Listen, these two, put them together in a feud, put them together as partners, it doesn't matter. It is gold of television, it is gold content, and I just want more of it. And what they're building this to, the Usos and with the Viking Raiders, listen, I'm still not over on the Viking Raiders, but whatever, it is what it is. It's a feud that needs to happen because WWE is putting so much effort into them. There is 2 very good feuds coming here because Sheamus and Drew can carry anything.
I thought this segment was a good way to give everything that to give us everything we wanted with, or at least myself, because I am a fan of the Viking Raiders. I love how they reinvented them. I love how they took them away and they let us forget about, going bowling with the Street Profits and the Renaissance Fair and all that other stuff. And then they came back and now they're actually being taken seriously. So we're going to get that with this tournament coming up. And if they end up making it to the final, we're going to get them versus the Usos. So I thought it was a great way to check both those boxes. Once again, I am a fan of the Viking Raiders. I like the new hard edge side of them. Like I said earlier, poor Adam Pearce. It's one thing for Sheamus and Drew to be chopping the crap out of each other and getting heat in the moment and all that stuff, getting fired up. But Adam Pearce, he's an official. I understand he's a former NWA champion. I get that. I know. But I mean, this man is a helpless civilian at this point. Leave him alone. You're gonna break his back.
Yeah, no, it was hilarious, and
either of these men.
Yeah, no, and I don't want to get a chop from Ricochet, let alone get a chop from Sheamus or Drew. Poor Adam Pearce. He's a big boy, but only after a couple of those are starting to sting, and you need a whiskey at the end of the night.
No, Adam too.
What was that?
Good sell by Adam too.
Oh, absolutely. It shows why he's still as good as he used to be. Like, injuries do what they do, but goddamn. Let's go to, I think, segment of the night, which it has been for the entire time that Bray has been back. I think this is obviously segment of the night. Yep. What a promo. First thing I did, I marked out when I saw the chair. If you have been a fan of Bray Wyatt and everything that he has done from start to finish, with his career from Husky Harris in the Nexus to what he has become now, when you see that chair, you know what version of Bray you're getting. And when that chair hit the middle of the ring, before Bray even stepped in, I sat there and I got goosebumps. I was just all about it. What about you?
So there was a sign for me before the chair. Did you happen to catch the QR code?
I have not seen the QR code yet. I saw it pop up, but obviously being live on 4 different streams, it was.
Not 100%.
I have not seen it. Have you deciphered it yet, or?
Yeah, I scanned it and I seen what it was. Okay, so if you scan the QR code or if you have scanned it, it's going to take you to a like 30-second clip, and it's an old clip of Bray Wyatt in the Firefly Funhouse when he was going to face Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell, and all it says is "See you in hell," and he starts laughing, and then all of a sudden, Bray's got the Fiend mask on, and then it stops.
Very interesting, because when he cut the promo, he mentioned that he is Uncle Howdy, he is Bray Wyatt, he is the Fiend. He named all of his characters, and he is all of them. But I think that was subtle storytelling or foreshadowing, being like they are all in my mind. Like, I am all of those people in my mind, which again goes back to an incredible promo, which will probably lead, if we're talking about the Hell in a Cell. Is this pitch black match gonna have a cell around it?
I think this pitch black match has more questions around it than anything, but just because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But they have done such an amazing job for us to not know what something is. They have done such an amazing job of making us care about something. We have no clue what it is.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see exactly what it entails. I don't know if that was foreshadowing toward the cell, or even towards a cage in general. I will say that I agree with you 1000%. I picture these characters much like Pandora's box. Bray's mind is Pandora's box. All these characters are in that box, and somewhere along the line that box got open and now they're here. So he is them and he's not them. They are him and they're not him.
Yeah.
And it's such a great way to tell this story. I told this to you last week when you were live on on Monday when you were live on Locals. This whole thing with Bray and Alexa is the one thing in my opinion. Okay, my opinion is what it is, but in my opinion, outside of the bloodline, this is the one thing they're doing exactly right.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna jump on all the fans that are gonna say, "Oh, it's taking too long." Stop it now. It is not taking too long. We have been begging for long-term storytelling for the better part of 10 years, and we are getting it. Be patient. This is not a TikTok. This is not also a race. This is a nice little stroll down a wandering rabbit hole that is the mind of Bray Wyatt, and just accept it and enjoy it for what it is. Anyways,
I would just a slight little bit to that. It might be taking too long, but if you're looking at it as just promos, I can see how you feel that way. What you have to do is you have to understand the layers. Every promo reveals a different layer. Every promo reveals something else. It took, 5 promos, then we started seeing pictures of Uncle Howdy. Then we got Uncle Howdy in person. Then we got Uncle Howdy in the ring putting his hands on Bray. Now we got Bray acknowledging these other characters. Every promo is another chapter in the book. Yep. You have to read the book for what it is. You can't just look at it and be like, oh, here's a page. Here's a page. What's on that page? What are you being told on that page? What is that page revealed about the future of the book? Yep. You have to look at it for what you're being shown. If you're looking at it as a whole, I can see how you get lost in this is taking forever. But if you look at what these pages are telling us, it makes you want to read the book.
Absolutely. 100%. Then we ended up getting another segment. We got 3 segments in a row before we got another match.
Yeah.
We ended up getting Sami KO backstage with Kayla Braxton, and it was kind of a face-to-face. And it's kind of funny, Kev. Every time you get Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn face-to-face, it's almost like you see this mental picture of their history.
Yes.
Facing each other. And it's just like, something when it comes to being a professional wrestling fan and it's almost like a ballet when you have Kevin Owens. It's an aggressive ballet when you have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the ring together. And this segment, I think, was the perfect build to the match that was coming, because you end up seeing, it's almost like that movie trailer a year in advance. Like when Endgame dropped and you got all the little clips. That's what you get every time you see Sami and Kevin Owens sitting next to or standing in front of each other. And this segment was perfect because you saw the slight cracks in Sami being like, I'm still talking to my best friend, but I have to acknowledge the bloodline. And I think tonight was the biggest story tell from the start of this segment to the final match, which we'll get into, where we saw those cracks in the foundation for Sami, not the bloodline, but for Sami.
This is the perfect story of, the character who knows what he has to do, but he doesn't want to do it. Mm-hmm. You look at, the movie Never Back Down, or you look at Old Yeller, the guy or the little boy who had to put his dog down because it had rabies, or whatever the case may be. You have this character who is set on a mission, who has to do something, but even though he's going to do it, he doesn't want to. And it's that internal struggle. And we've all been placed in those positions where you have to do something, but you don't really want to do it. And I think that's why this resonates with people so much. And I've said this numerous times. You've said it numerous times. Everybody who's been on this show has said this. You can take Kevin Owens, put him in anything, he's going to make it work. You can put Sami Zayn, put him in anything, he's going to make it work. You put those two together, you don't even have to try. Take my money. I'll write you a blank check. Let me watch it, because everything these guys do is going to resonate on some level with something we've all had to experience in life. And that's when wrestling goes from just being wrestling to being something else, something bigger, something that draws you in because you can relate to it. Yeah. And these two, even though they are so ungodly talented, I'm not saying I relate to them on a talent wise or on a talent scale, but I relate to them on the struggles they portray on screen, and they do it so elegantly. It's almost crazy to say elegantly, because they're so vicious and so violent with each other, but it's done in such a poetic way you can't help but watch. Yeah. It's like the Black Swan.
Yeah, we'll get to the match itself, but let's move on to quickly the Liv Morgan, Raquel. What is it, Gonzalez or Rodriguez now? I can't.
Can we not?
Well, we have to.
Yeah.
I was really disappointed with this, because in the segment that we didn't talk about the segment leading into this, but in the segment leading into this, this made Liv look very strong. Like that whole promo, the slap in the face, standing up to the bigger woman, arguably the strongest woman in WWE. I think they made mention to that, but it made Liv look strong. And then the match completely, it was the finish. Like we mentioned with the finish with Gunther and Braun, the finish did not reciprocate the story, if that makes sense. And I feel they did Liv a little dirty here. Do you see where I'm coming from on this?
I do. I can see both. I'm not a Liv Morgan fan. I am very annoyed by Liv Morgan. Don't like her. Okay. But with that being said, I can still see exactly what you're talking about. The backstage, it made you feel like, in the way they've been building Liv as of late, it made you feel like she was clearly going to win. And, the slap in the face, the trash talk, the never say die attitude, the I'm going to enter number one, I'm going to win the whole thing. When they did that with Edge, when Edge said, I'm going to win the Rumble, last year, I think it was, when Edge said, I'm going to win the Rumble, they had him go out there and he looked dominant all the way up until the Rumble. Every time somebody, wins the Rumble and they do these promos and stuff, they always make them look strong. This is the first time I can remember where somebody said, I'm going to enter number one and I'm going to win. And they put no stock into that whatsoever.
Not at all. And when you put her up, I think it's also unfair that they put her up against Raquel, because it's like the David versus Goliath thing. And obviously Liv is always the underdog, but when she's trying to build herself up, and then you have the big beast, no disrespect to Raquel, that's just the only term I can think of for this, just come in and squash. And that's what I felt. I felt this was a complete squash. There was a little bit of back and forth, but it still felt like a squash in the finish. And go ahead.
So why? And here's my question, just to caveat to what you were saying. I feel like a big, maybe not the fix it needed, but I think something that would have made this easier to take. If Xia Li was going to lose earlier in the night, why didn't you just have Xia Li in this segment?
Yeah, exactly. And make it for, first spot.
And it's not an insult to Xia Li whatsoever, but if she was going to lose anyway, and you're building Liv, why not put her in this segment and take the L there, and then have Tegan Nox and Raquel do their thing?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that would make more sense.
Yeah, I think this because they're still trying to build Raquel as basically, I don't want to segment her into the relationship with Adam Schnarr, Braun, what's his name?
Braun.
Yeah, Braun Strowman, but they're virtually being booked as the same thing right now. If you look at it side by side, they're being booked exactly the same. And
they are.
It's unfortunate. But anyways, very poor booking in that segment. I'd love to know who the producer for that match was. I'm sure we can find that out down the line, but I would love to know exactly who the producer for that. I'm saying that was a Jason Jordan booking. No disrespect to Jason Jordan, but he has done that several times in booking when it comes to the women's matches. Anyways, final match of the night, and we've already hinted to it, but Sami versus KO. Fuck me. Sorry, you can lead this, but fuck me. That was a banger. And it ended exactly how it needed to.
I felt myself fearing for Sami Zayn at the end, which is crazy to think about because first off, I agree with you. The match was stellar. These two can do no wrong. Yeah. And maybe that's me being a mark for Sami and being a mark for Kevin. I don't care. In my eyes, these two can do no wrong. They're national treasures. They're amazing wrestlers. They're the best pairing out of Canada since the Straight Shoe podcast. Shameless plug. But anyway, these two can do no wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely do no wrong. And then what I find so crazy and what I think was done awesome is these last couple weeks, we've seen Sami kind of get bullied by the bloodline a little bit. The segment with Roman before he apologized, the stuff with Jimmy with Jimmy, where Jimmy's like, but did he apologize to you yet? Did he say he was sorry for lying to you yet? All these things that kind of leaded toward we're going to turn on him. But when I really felt like they were going to turn is when they were helping him.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like they were going to turn when Roman's yelling at him. I didn't feel like they were going to turn when Jimmy was trying to drive that wedge. I felt like they were going to turn when they helped him. So for them to make me feel so confused about it, I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, I think with the whole run-in, I think I said in the live that I was doing that it's going to be a bloodline run-in. Like, simple as that. This match can't end with one of them going over, because at the end of the day, they have built this for the last, I'd say 4 months, maybe 3 months with the no contact. Up until a couple of weeks ago, Sami and KO had not touched. It was just, we want to be done with each other.
Since War Games.
Yeah, since War Games. So November.
Somewhere around there.
So 3 months, there was no contact up until then. And then you sit there and you're like, man, like these guys are big. When was the last time we had a one-on-one Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens match? When was the last time on television? It's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a minute. And honestly, it's one of those ones where I sit there and I'm like, I'm going to ignore everything else I'm doing because I want to watch these guys perform and do their dance. Bloodline obviously run in. And this is where I continue with my comments about cracks in Sami's foundation. Sami looked completely distraught with how the bloodline came in, because Sami virtually had the match. Like, the Halula kick was coming. And this is where you see, does the bloodline respect me enough to think I can do it myself? This was the question laid out by Creative, and Sami answered it perfectly, sitting there in kind of a trance on the apron while it all happened.
I'm so glad you said that, because the one thing I was going to say, I was just waiting for my chance to talk because I didn't want to talk over you. I was going to say Sami's facial expressions made this segment. The way he reacted made this segment, and that's what made me think they were going to turn, is because it's like, oh, he don't appreciate what we just did for him. But then Sami's like, I had this. This was my moment. I had it. I got this. Do you not trust me? Sami's acting in this made the whole dang show. And it was so good.
Oh, dude. I am looking forward to Smackdown next week, like being there live, because I have a feeling this could be the like final episode of Smackdown where the bloodline is intact in Detroit. I really do believe that we're going to get, Sami cracking a little bit more. And then the Fallout episode to Rumble is going to be, the Sami finally has had enough. And I'm, dude, I can't wait. But yeah, what an episode was. Like we said, like there was a couple of misses tonight. There was a few misses, but overall, another very good episode of Friday Night Smackdown that I thoroughly enjoyed. I feel that you are on the same page with me on that one.
Yeah, 100%. There were some misses, but the misses didn't take so much time from the show that we focused on it too much. We were easily able to go into a part that we were able to overlook the parts that we really didn't care for because there was something we liked either before it or after it.
Yeah, no, I get that. But anyways, guys, that is our Friday Night Smackdown review for January 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, 2023, the first Friday the 13th of 2023. Guys, my name is Mr. Tesh, Steve from the Straight Shoot Wrestling Podcast, and my boy, heel Kev. Kev, where can people find you?
You guys can find me every single weekday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Time, twitch.tv/HeelKevin. We do live reacts to Monday Night Raw. Every wrestling show during the week. We have an EFED we run over there. A lot of really good fun. We shoot a lot of content, not just wrestling. As you can see behind me, I'm a fandom of a lot of stuff. We cover all these bases and then some. If you want to come be a part of that community, we'd love to see you every weeknight, 7:15 Eastern, twitch.tv/HeelKevin.
And guys, everything that Kevin just said will be down in the description below. And like myself, all you guys have to do is go over to straightshoot.locals.com. Santi and I is the only one that we'll be plugging is straightshoot.locals.com is our premium content site where we'll be doing interviews with professional wrestlers, professional wrestling content creators, and you never know who's ever going to drop by. We might even get, I don't know, Dave Meltzer.
Was I supposed to keep a straight face there?
Yeah, so was I, but I think if we ever got Dave Meltzer, I would not be doing the interview. Anyways, so guys, make sure if you like this video, leave a like and a comment. Make sure you have the bell on for the subscription to Straight Shoot, and again, straightshoot.locals.com. Guys, be good people. Have a fantastic weekend. I will see you on Monday night.